learners. Welcome to today's section. I'm Dr. Meera Asmi, basically working as consultant to Government of Kerala and the managing partner of Broadway Events, one of the leading event management company operating in Golden Country, Kerala. So welcome to today's section. So just a quick recap from the previous section. I hope you will remember the previous section. So we started off with the essence of event management company. What are the attributes you require in order to start up a new event management company? So we identify certain terminologies like intellectual property, how it is had to be used. Is it going to be, how is the competition going to be? Is it completely coming out from the customer point of view? Or is it going to be your company's profile, which is going to be the intellectual property? The importance of digitalization, how we are going to reach out to the masses through rural development, how this event management platform can be broadened to greater extents, including the government scenario, how we can associate with the government organizations and other sports and other cultural activities and make it available to masses at large. So we have understood the immense opportunities which are lying ahead in the event management industry, how lucrative the industry is. So that was a quick recap on the previous section. And we ended up with a assignment on business plan. We have an upcoming session completely on that, on coming up with a business plan. What is a business plan basically? We just had a quick understanding about business plan, what is expected in that. That was also covered in the previous section. But we have a complete lesson plan coming up immediately after this on business plan. What is being expected on a business plan? What is going to be your vision, mission, objectives, goals? All these will be taken in detail in the upcoming sections on business plan. So that was a quick recap of what we have tried to analyze in the previous section. Now we'll start with the new section, continuation of the previous section on opportunity assessment for starting a new event management company. So we said that, essential services for the event company is very essential. You have to categorize the events. We have to understand how the intellectual property is going to be utilized, whether it is going to be the company's intellectual property or whether the client is a client like bigger clients like government or sports council or international film festival who have their own logo, who have their own intellectual property, including design team, etc., is being used, or a combination of both. For example, if you are going for a MICE meeting, incentives, that kind of a corporate event, then how it is going to get shared, the intellectual property is going to get shared. So the opportunity lies in analyzing each and every activities. You have to understand the essential services of the event, the categorization of the events, how you are going to use intellectual property, how you're going to manage the event on a personal basis and also on a social basis. What are the activations that are expected in this? The possibility of digitalizing these events, the opportunities lying ahead in the rural sports and government events. So immense opportunities lies in this in starting up an event management company. It's a very, very lucrative company, lucrative industry. So, being an entrepreneur, one should identify the specialization or the niche area of the event company within these broad categories. So, you cannot become, like a jack of all events. You have to very carefully understand which is going to be your area of specialization. Why that is important? Because segmentation is very important. Segmentation plays a major role in determining your market share. You cannot go on holding each and every possible event coming your way. You need to have a USP. You need to have a unique selling proposition. You need to identify which niche are you going to concentrate more. Obviously you have lots of opportunities, but at the same time you have competitors also. So how you're going to differentiate yourself from that of your competitors is very important, and for that you have to have a niche segment all for yourself. So being a startup company, being a new event management company, maybe you can come up with one or more specialized services which will cater to the needs of customers. For example, if you're going to concentrate more on the corporate sector, you can conduct retreats for the corporate sector. You can plan party events for the employees therein. You can host concerts, fashion shows. You can even organize what you call as MICE, that is meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. These are some of the specialized categories which you can see in a event sector. This is an example wherein the new event management company is going to concentrate more on the corporate sector. This is one just example. Moving on. The entrepreneur should attempt to identify and satisfy the current or unmet customer needs which are relevant to the local context. So the key word or the buzzword is flexibility. Being an event management company, you'll have a lot of, you have your you have your set of goals, you have your set of objectives, you have everything, standardized practices, procedures, everything is there. But at the same time you have to understand one thing is that there should be room for flexibility, because here what is more important is that you need to develop a direct interaction with your client in such a way that there should be room for customization. It should be something like a tailor made, something unique which you're coming exclusively for that particular company or a particular client. Exclusivity should be there. In order to accommodate that exclusivity into it, what is more important is that you should have room for flexibility in order to add up to their expectations. You should be very open with your client, and you should be able to assimilate their ideas in such a way that the resources you hold can be optimally utilized in order to make a best possible effect of customization to the client. That is going to give you added mileage. So there should be room for flexibility. You have to identify all the current or unmatched customer needs. Like customer will be having a lot of expectation. Maybe they will not be able to tell you exactly what they have in their mind. So as an event management company, what you should have to have in hand is that you should have surprises for them. They will have a minimum expectation about how the event is going to be, but a bit of a surprise is going to be more appealing to your client. So that is going to give you an upper hand as compared to that of your competitors. Give them a surprise, very warm surprise, so that customer will actually, for the next event from your side, the customer will be actually looking forward to have a bit more creative ideology from your side. So they understand that you understand their concept better than they can put that into words. You do understand their concept. That is very important. That is how you maintain a very good rapport with your clients. So for this, what is more important is that you should have a lot of creativity. You should have new technologies in hand. You should have new marketing approach. So this overall will help you in building up a brand name, a brand image, which will lead to customer loyalty. See, being an event management company, you're not just coming up with a service, or you're not just an event planner just rendering a service to a particular customer or to a particular client base. No, you have much more than that. In order to become a successful player in the industry, in order to grab a suitable position or respectable position in this lucrative industry, you have to build up yourself as a brand. and you have to develop your client base in such a way that the brand loyalty is going to work, the customer loyalty is going to work. Once they plan an event with you, you should make sure that no, you are going to record the events with them. It's not just a one time affair. This is going to go on with further additions, with new surprises, new ideologies, new technological enhancements. You are going to give them a better and better version of the entire event, more than what they expect, or more than what they can actually tell you what they expect. This has immense scope. So, room for creativity, how you're going to build up with the new technologies in hand and the new marketing approach, the creativity, innovation, all this counts in building up your brand image, and that is going to have more customer loyalty. Moving on. So, there are certain advantages of shortlisting the essential services for the event management company. See, for the customers, for the client point of view, they will dot you in if they feel that, your organization, your event management company is going to align with their requirements. For example, if your event organization is specializing in MICE for academic institution, then if there is a client who is interested in organizing a seminar, will actually will actually try to contact you rather than going for a general event planner. So you understand the differentiation. So you need to understand that what is going to be your area of specialization, because that is really important. Because like, once you highlight that this is going to be a USP, or this is going to be the key service you're going to offer exclusively for your clients, then that means you are creating a room for yourself. And when you are identifying your area of specialization and you are going to highlight it on a public note, then people know for sure whom to contact for this particular event. It will not go in for a general search, but they can specifically identify which event planner they require for this particular activity. So that is very, very important. So you have to make sure that you are actually shortlisting the essential services. The entrepreneur will spend less time, resources, and efforts to familiarize itself with the elements of the selected services and create her or his business network. You, being an entrepreneur, you should actually, in the business plan, as we have talked earlier, you should actually understand the resources, and you should understand what is there in the environment around you. You cannot spend more and more time exploiting the environment around you. You cannot go in all the time for a detailed research in order to identify the opportunities. You should have all these in hand, then update. Okay, before going for a new event management company, you have to have a business plan. You have to identify the opportunities lying in this particular industry, how we are going to shortlist your essential services as an EMC. So then, like, the time you need to spend on each and everything gets reduced, so that once you get into a client, you get in touch with a client, then the next stage becomes much easier. You actually know what is them, what are they expecting from your side. Then the next time when they are coming back to you, actually you have done the homework on this particular organization, so you know what they expect. Making a note of it, keeping proper report based on what activities you are undertaking in the past, that is going to gain an added advantage, and that will reduce a lot of time. So this will actually help in creating a better business network. See, the buzzword is networking. Your organization, your business will definitely depend upon the networks you are developing in the meantime, because your business depends on proper networking. That is very essential and that is very crucial. So next is about the expense part, how you are going to control the resources. So being a startup company, when you're going to come up with a new event management company, you have to understand one thing. You cannot build a empire of yourself and then start the business. Doesn't work that way. Why? Because then it is going to be too very expensive. Expenses are going to be out of your hand. The investment is going to be on a higher end, which is not really appreciable. It's obviously yes. If you want, you can build up your empire and then go searching for your clients. Well, that can also work, but on a gentle note, because when we are doing a business, the returns counts. The return on investment counts to your shareholders, to your investors, to your creditors. You're answerable, right? So what is more important is that you should have a fair idea about what are the initial expenses that are going to shoot up in order to set up your organization, in order to cater to the needs of the clients. So that's the reason why you have to shortlist your essential activities. So what is required for that particular activity, because you make sure that okay, you are going to concentrate on this particular entity, you're going to cater to this niche, you're going to cater to the mice segment, or you're going to cater only to wedding planner, you're going to cater to birthday parties. So you just shortlist your essential services in such a way that the overheads can be controlled. The resources you require for that particular segment of event needs to be initiated in the initial stages. So that is actually going to save a lot of money. Your resources are not going to get obsolete over a period of time. You are just picking up whatever is required at the moment, then gradually build it up on that. So that is another important point that has to be considered. You don't have to go for high-end technology and software to which will cater to large-scale events if you are just concentrating on small, what you call, wedding planning or birthday parties or something like that. So depending upon what is your view, where you see your niche, what is the essential services that you are going to highlight, based on that, arrange your resources in such a way that you can optimally utilize the resources and you can have a financial control on the activities associated with it. That's very important. So when we assess the business potential of the shortlisted services, what are the parameters we have to consider? See, the shortlisted services will definitely need to have certain resources at its disposal. So for that, like there should be investment for like some capital purchases, which includes technology, stage material, logistics, etc. Being an event planner, what is more important is that you should have sufficient stage material, because that is going to build up the theme, right? You have to have a lot of show pieces and like materials. Logistics is important, and to what extent the technology is essential. All these have to be made a note of. You have to analyze the competitive threats and risk involved in this. Risk is directly associated to the competitors. The competition is there, may be cutthroat at times. So that's the reason why you have to highlight what is the essential service which you are going to portray more into. You cannot be a jack of everything. You need to specialize. That will actually cut down a lot of competitive threats. And even when you analyze the competitive threats, you can actually make some kind of a distinction in such a way that you can actually place your service in such a way that it is going to be a bit different from that of your competitor. You can ensure that life expectancy of the events, like there is nothing like a standardized procedure or standardized event pattern that is going to exist over a period of time. No, this is a very dynamic industry. People's preference change, the cultural habits change, and people want new creative ideas coming up. So like the life expectancy of a particular category of event is not on a higher end. You cannot just plan a particular event just like that, keep it standardized and use it everywhere. No, it doesn't work that way. What you require is that you need to have you need to understand that the expectancy of a particular category of events doesn't hold forever. It will be time bound. Once you reach the time bound, you have to update it to the next level, or else you'll be out from this scenario. That is very important. Pricing of events as compared to demand for statutes and suppliers in the market. So when we plan an event, for example, wedding, in India, wedding doesn't happen, especially in the southern part of India, wedding doesn't always happen every month. So nowadays it happens almost every month. Yes, people have changed, ideologies have changed, traditions have changed. Yes, but at the same time, there will be a demand for a certain kind of events at a particular point of time. So when you price the event, you have to price it accordingly. That if it is going to be a peak time, then you have to understand that the suppliers, the logistics, everything is, you have to add up to that as well. So then the pricing of your event will also be in a higher range. But if it is the other way out, you're actually planning up an event when like there is not much of a competition or something like that, and where you can actually optimize your resources, and if you can cut down your cost to a decent level, you can reflect that in the your budgeting, your final pricing as well. This will actually give a flexibility to the clients also, because they know what to expect with the pricing strategy. They know what to expect at a peak hour and on an off peak hour. That really helps. Then the profitability and the willingness to initially compromise profits for growth. So the moment you start the business, yes, what is in your mind is return on investment plus a very good decent profit. That is the motive of any what you call a product or a service sector. Very true. But initially you cannot grab a lot of profit, because what you require at the initial stages is that you need to develop your networking in such a way that you are going to elaborate your client base. Maybe you start with a single client. Based on the work you perform on that particular client, you're going to build up your networks. So you need to be very, very dynamic, very diplomatic when you deal with your customers, when you deal with your clients. Because initially, what you need is you want to have more networking, and you need to grab more opportunities. You need to have more customer ends. You need to have more clients to your list. Then, slowly, step by step, you can reach a break even point. From there onwards, you can reap the profits. Doesn't happen overnight. You have to be very patient. You have to plan your activities very, very, very diplomatically in such a way that you reach the break even point at a minimum time. Then from there you're going to reap the profits. Even the part of the profit, you'll have to invest it back in your sector, because this is a industry which is very dynamic, and you need to have constant upgradation of the same. So not everything that comes your way is going to be a profit. It has to be reinvested many times. You have to go in for a better technology. You have to go in for better raw materials, like stage arrangements and everything. You have to come up with new and new ideas. So this also, like reinvesting is something that is going to take place on a continuous note. So when you plan your profitability, make sure that you have room in order to compromise a big when you start it up at the initial stages. So market growth, we have to categorize it in such a way that we have to see the overall market growth. At the same time, we have to see the growth within the specific categories. Being an event planner, we said that we have to shortlist our services to very essential services, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to take up a different sequence of events if it is coming our way. If we can do it, we'll go for it. So you make sure that you have a generalized approach in such a way that you are there in the market, but you are specializing in a particular niche at the same time. So when you see, you have to make it in such a way that this market growth is going to be on an overall basis and within the specific categories. And the seasonality and cultural trends, as we discussed earlier, no, not every season is lucrative for this industry. So seasonality and cultural trends might vary, which will have a direct reflection on your industry in general. Thank you.